9 o'clock, and I have to do this for the guy in the back. There we go. If I could have Commissioner Broggie please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready, begin.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We get a roll call, please.
Chair Judge,
Here.
Vice Chair McQueen-Lejeune.
Here.
Commissioner Anderson. Here. Commissioner Broggie.
Here.
Commissioner Crosswhite.
Here.
Commissioner Enegren. Here. Commissioner Engler.
Here.
Commissioner Gorell. Commissioner Halter. Commissioner Lang. Here. Commissioner Lavier.
Here.
Commissioner Long.
Here.
Commissioner Lopez. Commissioner MacArthur. Commissioner Parvin.
Here.
Commissioner White.
Here.
Commissioner Roberts.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I assume we have a quorum, right?
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move along. I don't have any public comment cards. Does anybody from the public wish to speak on any matters before the board? No, seeing none, we'll move on to the Caltrans report. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair and Commissioners and Director Erickson. Gloria Roberts, Caltrans District 7 Director. It's great to see everyone. So yesterday I was in Sacramento celebrating the retirement of our Caltrans Chief Deputy Director, Mike Keever. We're undergoing another leadership change in Caltrans. As you may recall, Chief Deputy Keever attended the March meeting here at VCTC and has been a staunch advocate and supporter of Caltrans for 39 years career. So it was great to have him be celebrated. And we are in the process of filling that vacancy, but we have an acting Deputy Director, Ryan Dermody, who comes from Bishop, our District 9 Director, will be serving in that capacity until a permanent appointment is made. As Marlon Regisford, our Deputy Director of Planning, may have mentioned at the last meeting, Director Dina Altawanzi is the new Caltrans Director. She was most recently the District 4 Director in the Bay Area, and she started her career in District 7 as the maintenance engineer and very familiar with our region. So it's good to have a prior District Director who kind of knows, boots on the ground, what happens in our districts and how we can support our local cities and counties and region in serving all of our transportation needs. So we look forward to introducing Director Altawanzi to the board at some time in the future. So even with leadership changes, we remain committed to delivery of our Fix It First projects, as you can see in our monthly report. So just a couple of things to highlight. We were very successful in completing the first 55-hour closure of the Ven 33 up in just north of Ojai in the Los Padres National Forest. The first 55-hour closure was executed well when we actually opened about Sunday at 10 p.m. instead of Monday 5 a.m. So earlier closure, and we have the second extended weekend closure coming up starting at 10 p.m. on Friday, September 19th, and we aim to reopen the roadway by 5 a.m. on Monday, September 22nd, and we'll be sending out a news release to remind everyone. We're also starting the Ven Overhead Bridge Replacement Project in October next month. We're anticipating awarding that contract later this month, and we'll be doing a presentation to the community to talk about what to expect with the construction, the emergency response plan, as well as the long-term closure of PCH and how we will navigate traffic in that area. The project in the city of Moore Park, pavement rehab, the actual construction paving work will be starting next month. We'll also be sending an updated construction schedule. We anticipate overnight pavement work for that project to begin in October. where overnight closures and work will be done from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m., but more information will be coming as well. On the Arroyo Simi barrier fencing project, we anticipate the fence installation to begin shortly by the end of the year. The contractor is now working on manufacturing the fence for that particular project. So all of the projects that we have is really aligned with the fact that safety remains our top priority. And all of the work of our core assets focusing on pavement, bridges, culverts, and transportation management system elements, such as traffic signal, preserves the operation of the state highway system so that people and goods can continue to move safely and reliably. So we thank all of the commissioners and staff who reach out to us and identify opportunities for us to implement our safety improvements, and appreciate the continued partnership and support. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Move on to commissioner reports. Is anybody on the board? Go ahead.
Hi, thank you. It's in regards to Caltrans. I wanted to say thank you very much for the lane delineators at Mesa School. They've been consistently up. I just met with our head of CHP for Ventura yesterday, and it was great collaboration between Caltrans and CHP. But we had a discussion about 126. As many of you know, there's been some fatal accidents that's been really just horrendous on the 126. And we were trying to brainstorm and thought today was a great opportunity to just speak publicly about lane delineators. They have been really working well on PCH, on Mesa. It's a quick, very tall, sturdy, good light and reflection. We talked about the issues between County Line and, say, Trestle Way, like by Fillmore, where there's the ups and downs and the little corners. And because it's an unincorporated area, there is no lights. And that's a big issue for many of our accidents. Along with Ventura's side from Trestle Way to Halleck, there are some accidents too. But just in total, last year was 6 fatalities. This year, 2 so far. Major and minor accidents are 16 last year. Just year to date is 18. We're only like halfway through the year. DUIs, we have 5, and we already have 5. So there's an uptick in trying to figure that out. I know we've had some discussions in the past about the 126, but I'd like to, based on the new technologies out there and things that are really working, the delineators we had put at Rio Mesa High School, huge working, so very successful. Thinking that perhaps we can have a meeting with our cities and Caltrans in my office and CHP, because they have heat maps that they know exactly where all the accidents, like the majority ones are. If we could strategize on how we can implement a better process on the freeway, I'd greatly welcome that.
So thank you very much, Commissioner Long, for always being an advocate for safety and your great collaboration. We actually have a meeting scheduled on Wednesday coming up to discuss this very item, because we've been discussions internally with our staff, with our traffic safety and operations team. And so the delineators are one item of other measures that we're looking at to implement. So we definitely want to continue this conversation because we definitely see that there is a need for some sort of proactive prevention measures that we can to address and reduce the incidences of the fatalities and the crashes that we've had. So appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. And please involve my office if you could, or the CHPs. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Broggie?
Thank you for bringing that up. This has been a huge topic of conversation for the city of Fillmore, and City Council has been discussing it ad nauseum the last few weeks, and definitely things are getting worse. So my question is, is there a representative from Fillmore participating in that meeting on Wednesday?
I'm looking at my calendar right now to see,
yeah,
look at the
sorry to put you
invite
on
to
the
see
spot,
who's
but
on the
I'd li-
list.
I believe
Give me
there
1
is
second.
a representative from Fillmore attending the meeting also. We've
Yes,
been
so
working to
there's,
schedule a meeting, so, with Caltrans.
I'm not sure of the last name, but McSweeney from Fillmore.
Okay, that's our,
And then definitely Commissioner Crosswhite is invited. Eduardo Malgan from Fillmore as well, and Gorilla, as well as SCAG, and our traffic safety team, as well as Director Erickson.
Yeah, and Amanda Fagan has a list of all the attendees also, because we've been working with Caltrans on this for some time, and we want to, yeah, this is wonderful that meeting's happening, and we're pretty focused on it also.
Yeah, yes, Commissioner Broggie, just a quick rundown. Assistant City Manager Manharis has been convening and scheduling the meeting. So City of Fillmore is represented, CHP will be represented, SCAG is attending, City of Santa Paula, and of course VCTC. We're all planning to participate on Thursday. And we've been pulling data and assembling different data sources that we can bring to the conversation, as well as existing tools that VCTC has, along with our partners to try to address this issue.
And Amanda, if I could ask, Piru is a very large neighborhood, and I'm hearing that they're not represented. So if we can make sure that we have someone from the county
Sure.
or my office that's representing Piru as well, because most of the fatalities and so forth are on that end, and I'm very, very concerned.
Of course, thank you.
thank you.
Got it. Any more questions for Caltrans? All right. Moving on to commissioners' reports. Does any commissioners wish to make a report on anything? Seeing none. Moving along. Executive Director report.
Thank you, Chair Judge. Members of the commission, happy September. I hope everybody has been weathering the heat wave okay as we move into, looks like, slightly cooler weather. You have my executive director's report in front of you. Some exciting news to share. As I was somewhat joking earlier, last time I talked about being fully staffed too much, people retired and we had several people we had to hire. But fortunately, we are fully staffed again. And I wanted to introduce our newest member of the staff, Vanessa Schoenwald, who has joined us from the San Bernardino County Transportation Association, SBCTA, one of our sister agencies to the south. She's our new Director of Programming, taking over for Peter DeHaan, and thrilled to have her on board. She has worked with us in many capacities in the past. She worked with Peter when he would see him at the CTC meetings, the California Transportation Commission meetings quite often. And again, just thrilled to have her here, and I wanted to have her say a few words.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. Thank you, Martin, for introducing me. I just wanted to say it's a privilege to be serving as the Director of Programming here at VCTC. I look forward to helping advance the projects and programs that keep this beautiful county connected. As Martin mentioned in his report, I have 12 years of experience at the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority in their programming department, and 9 years from the city of Riverside, where my transportation-related career started, managing TDA funds and FTA grants. So I just wanted to say I'm excited to be here, to bring my experience to the table, and excited to work with everyone here. Thank you.
And then rounding out our being fully staffed, I'm also happy to report that we have attained our 2 new paid interns. The first time VCTC has had a paid intern as a formal program. This was one of your goals from our strategic plan that you adopted. So I'm excited to introduce. I'll introduce Yunitsa Limeta first. If you want to just raise your hand, she's joining us. A recent graduate of Dartmouth University. She studied geography and human-centered design. She's also an avid transit rider, so I'm excited that she's participating in that. She's actually working in Amanda Fagan's department, in the transportation planning department, where she'll get great exposure to GIS, planning, and some transit too. but it's wonderful to have you, Nitsa, on board joining us. And our second intern is Hayden Balsas. Hayden is our transit intern working in Claire Grasty's department. Hayden is a recent graduate of UC Davis. And I know Tony Tremblay's not here today, but I know he'd be excited to hear that. And he studied computer science and is currently working on a master's degree, though, in urban informatics. And this is, again, really exciting to have both of them here. They've already kind of brought some exciting energy to the department, just hearing about their experience and having a chance for my team to work with them, and especially both Amanda and Claire to have the interns on board. So welcome, welcome to VCTC. Just want to touch on a few other items. This is Rail Safety Month. I know we just talked about critical traffic safety issues on our roads, but September is the month we focus on rail safety. I know both Metrolink and LoSan have been doing a lot of outreach work. I'm wearing my Operation Lifesaver pin today. You're going to hear more about this in Claire's presentation on the agenda, but I just want to thank all of you as commissioners for sharing information, Gesundheit, through your respective cities, through your respective organizations, because it's just something we have to really have constant vigilance on with issues especially at tracks where there have been incidents of accidents before. Some more very exciting news, especially in the Heritage Valley area. We have I don't want to say troops mobilizing, but folks mobilizing to start building the bridge in Sespe Creek.
Yay!
And want to thank Amanda Fagan and her team and the group working with us on that. That's been a pretty long process, but Amanda, thank you for staying so diligent on top of it, and Caitlin also for helping, and other rail pros and other consultants we have working on this. It's so excited to keep you up to date as the progress goes forward on repairing that rail bridge. And then last but not least, I just wanted to highlight, it's on the report, but in later this month, the second annual Government and Disability Summit will take place. And thank you, Supervisor, thank you, just Commissioner Anderson. Sorry, I haven't had my second cup of coffee yet today. But this was a great event last year. VCTC was happy to be a sponsor and be part of it, and really looking forward to that also. That will be occurring September 23rd through September 26th in Ventura again. And as part of that, we are also hoping and planning to showcase one of our new low floor, well, not low floor, but one of our new over-the-road coaches that has a ramp, that has a vestibule for wheelchair boarding, so it doesn't require the mechanical lift. Many of you saw that bus. We had it on display here in the parking lot in June, and very excited about that. Very excited about getting as many of those as possible, but just looking forward to it. It was a great event last year, and I'm certain it will even surpass last year's success. So,
Thank you.
with that, I'm open to any questions.
Are there any questions for Martin? Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. No questions, really. Just I'm very excited about the Rail Safety Month, because it seems like consistently I get information from LoSan and the Surfliner that there's an incident, and people need to be well aware of what's going on when that train goes by. So I'm glad to see that we're making a strong look at that. Second of all, the Santa Paula branch line, I'm very excited about that. I'm getting a lot of questions about when's it going to be done, when's it going to be done. And so I talked to some people this morning, and we're looking at maybe the end of next year for Ventura part. And once we get that done, we can move on up through Santa Paula. So just excited about that news. So thank you very much.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to piggyback on that comment as well with regard to the Santa Paula branch line and the work that is beginning. on the bridge that's been down for 2 years now. 2 years? 3 years, Amanda? How long? Anyway, I just wanted to extend my appreciation for the hard work, that you've put in, that VCTC's put in, and the focus from this body that's been on this little tiny bridge in the middle of, the Heritage Valley there. And it just warms my heart to know that so many people care about that and that there's been such due diligence put into getting this repaired. And thank you so much on behalf of, the community of Fillmore.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you very much for your report, Martin. Any additions or revisions to the agenda today?
We have some slight revisions to the agenda, and there actually were just revisions really to the agenda as it appeared on the website. On item 9M, the attachment was mistitled. The attachment should have been titled Resolution Authorizing the Executive Director to Execute Right-of-Way Certifications, and it was instead labeled as SGR. So everything on the printed agenda is still accurate. And then another minor revision on the agenda, item 9L, the date on the staff report was listed as September 6th, so we're just asking it to be changed to September 5th.
All right. Make those notations. Moving on to the consent calendar. Would any member like to pull anything off consent? Okay.
I don't need to poll, but I have 3 questions I think I can ask without polling unless someone else needs to poll an item.
Sure. Great.
All right. So just real quick on item 9D for the towing and primary service trucks. Can you, because along 126, as we were talking about earlier, I see that you're looking at implementing a primary service truck. Could you talk a little bit about what the primary service truck could do, and if someone needed a tow? Because it says in the other zones, what they would do is the primary service truck calls the tow truck, but there's no tow truck in that region. So would they call one of the other tow trucks, or what would happen if someone needed a tow?
In that situation, they plausibly could call a primary record truck off of the 101, but we were trying to keep costs down, which is why we only implemented a service truck on 126. So in that case, most likely what would happen was that the service truck would have to stay with the motorists until a private tow service could come to pick them up or to tow their vehicle.
And so then in that case, the motorist would be responsible for the tow as opposed to the free tow that you'd get on the other parts of the system.
For freeway service patrol, we only tow off of the freeway to a drop location. So motorists are always responsible for getting their vehicle back to their home or to a mechanic.
Okay. All right, and then on 9E, for it talks in the performance metrics about the fact that most of those buses are very much not on time. And in some of the routes, they're like 40% of the time on time. Do we have any sense of why some of those intercity buses have fairly low on-time performance? And is there anything that we can do to improve that?
I'm sure Matt will have a good answer for this, but I'll just jump in as former transit director. I think part of the factor is the transit buses are also subject to the traffic delays that we face in many areas, especially with construction. That being said, I think there has also been just a general challenge in the industry with getting drivers, hiring new drivers, and sometimes the challenge of just really having enough drivers. I know other transit operators are experiencing this also, and that can add to that. Matt, please correct anything I said wrong.
Sure. Good morning. I think, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's most of the delays happen on the freeway, and that's number one. Number two is we've invested in some new scheduling software that'll help our contractor better schedule drivers. So a lot of the time, if a if a trip is late, they still have to take their break per labor law. So that might eat into the next trip, causing a delay on that trip. And it kind of spirals from there. But we have implemented a new scheduling software that should help with that. And then the last thing is we're going to do more analysis and service changes, similar to what Gold Coast does, where they're looking at schedules twice a year and making those adjustments to better match like expected travel times on the freeways and things like that. So,
Right, thank you. And then final question on, which might be a question for you.
okay.
On F9, for the implementation timeline for the contactless payments, do we have an idea of when those will start being available on the lines that they're not currently available on?
Sort of. So right now we're in the phase of each agency is taking the transit processor contracts to their respective boards and councils. City of Camarillo, 2 weeks ago, I believe, got theirs approved. So we've done a kickoff meeting with the City of Camarillo. The next would be Valley Express in maybe October timeframe. And then as agencies take their items to their councils and get approval, we'll start folding them into the process. So the goal is to have full fare, like base fare contactless payments with credit card, debit card by the end of January. And then after that, we'll start adding features as they become available.
And so then with that, will people be able to pay in the app too, or is that a separate problem?
So this project it's called Tap to Ride, but it's commonly known as open loop. So it's credit card, debit card. You can pay with your whatever is in your wallet or on your phone, but there is no app associated with it. It's just like paying at the grocery store where you just, if you have your cards in your digital wallet, you can pay with that. So the VC Bus Pass and the UMO app is still available for those who would like to load it with money and use that. So both systems will be available on all the transit agencies.
Right, we had talked though at one point about how right now you can schedule a ride in the app, but you couldn't pay in the app. Is that still going to continue to be a problem?
Yeah, that's a third technology project for demand response systems. Yes, in fact, City of Camarillo just activated that feature this week, and there is some. So the project's growing, and as other agencies are being added to the system, there are some things that we have to work through related to the software. Currently, if you are being charged at the time of booking, right? So if you pay at the time of booking and then you say, never mind, cancel that, you get a credit. And so that credit can be used across the systems. So it kind of gets a little messy there. But by October, I just met with them yesterday. By October, payments through the app will happen at time of boarding. And that is when we're going to activate credit card payments through the app so that, these ride credits kind of go away and people just pay for the ride that they're taking and they don't need to deal with credits and things.
Thank you.
No problem.
If I might, just want to add, as the chair of GCTD, we did just approve the system this week, and the goal for the staff is to launch February of next year. So we're excited about that, and that is just an added method of payment. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Chair Judge, if I could just add, many of you know Miranda Patton. She's the chair of the CTAC, our Citizens Transportation Advisory Committee, and a very public-spirited person. She recently took the Coastal Express bus for her first time, and she texted me and said, I used Apple Pay on it with this new technology. So that was kind of exciting. So.
Great. Anybody else have any questions on the consent calendar? I'll wait for a motion.
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for consent.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Broggie,
Yes.
Commissioner Crosswhite,
Yes.
Commissioner Enegren,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Lovier, Commissioner Long,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lang,
Yes.
Commissioner Parvin,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Vice Chair McQueen Lejeune,
Yes.
Chair Judge.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Righty. Okay. Move on to the discussion calendar. We're going to have the Ventura County Comprehensive Transportation Plan Amendment, and this is Caitlin Brooks.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Chair, Judge, and Commissioners. My name is Caitlin Brooks, and I serve as the Program Manager for Transportation Planning here at VCTC. I'm here today with item 10 to seek adoption of the amendment of the Comprehensive Transportation Plan update. And so I'll start with some background on the CTP for those of you who may not be as familiar with the plan, and then touch on what's changed and why we are back with the amendment for formal adoption. So VCTC is the Regional Transportation Planning Agency for Ventura County, and a key element of fulfilling this responsibility is defining a vision and strategy for the long-term development of the transportation network. The purpose of developing the CTP is thus to establish a vision for mobility in Ventura County that creates a connected, resilient, and equitable transportation future for all. The CTP is a long-range planning document, and projects identified are intended to be implemented over the next 20 to 30 years. The plan is a key input to the Regional Transportation Plan and Sustainable Community Strategy, or RTP-SES. This presentation is full of acronyms, so if you aren't sure, just let me know. Prepared by SCAG. The RTP-SES defines how the SCAG region plans to meet the state-mandated goals and targets for the reductions in emissions for vehicle miles traveled, or VMT. So this is a background video on the CTP.
Is committed to creating a connected, resilient, and equitable transportation future for all residents of Ventura County. The Comprehensive Transportation Plan covers the future of transportation in Ventura County over the next 20 to 30 years. The plan identifies future transportation needs, priorities, and funding, identifies strategies to reduce emissions and improve air quality, enhances equitable access to mobility options, and establishes an overall vision for mobility in Ventura County to improve quality of life. Key projects identified in the plan include highway service improvements, roadway enhancements, bus transit and regional rail service improvements, more and safer bike lanes and places to walk. You may view the full plan as well as a 2-page overview of the plan by visiting goventura.org/CTP. Thanks for your interest. Together, we can create a more connected, resilient, and equitable transportation future for Ventura County.
So the CTP came before the board in February of 2023, and due to grant-related timing and funding constraints, the board accepted the 2023 CTP and directed staff to return at a future date once public and agency comments had been incorporated into the plan. So what's changed from the February 2023 plan? VCTC procured a consultant, Iteris, to help us incorporate the public and agency comments. The major changes include text edits, updating data and information, and connecting that to the plan's goals. Updating transportation data post-COVID with the new telework numbers from the American Community Survey, a more concise summary of public outreach, and a revised travel discussion. I'll start by setting the stage with data on transportation in Ventura County. With a population of over 850,000, Ventura County has around 625,000 licensed drivers and over 770,000 registered vehicles. According to 2016 Origin Destination data, over 2 million daily trips occur within our county, resulting in over 17 million vehicle miles traveled, or VMT. An extensive and inclusive community engagement effort resulted in 5 goals, along with supporting objectives for inclusion in the CTP. The CTP aligns with regional and statewide plans and helps to ensure that Ventura County plays a part in helping the region achieve its mobility goals, while also better positioning projects in Ventura County for future funding opportunities. The 2023 CTP highlighted that from 2019 to 2021, the share of Ventura County commuters who worked from home tripled, while the share of commute trips using public transportation declined by half. In this updated figure, we include the most recent data from a post-pandemic world where the percentage of people working from home is 14.2% instead of the high of 18.9% in 2021, which was included in the February 2023 plan. This figure drives home that if we want to make an impact in reducing air pollution associated with transportation, then we need to focus on a range of more sustainable transportation options, like supporting the transition to zero-emission fleets, moving people from driving alone to alternative modes, and the discussion needs to include mode shift, demographic changes, and land use. Public input was an important component to this study, and half of the CTP budget was allocated to public outreach. Community engagement included a range of activities and tactics designed to involve a diverse cross-section of Ventura County residents and to ensure that the input received shaped the development of the CTP and its recommendations. Key themes emerged from the community engagement efforts, including coordinating future land use and transportation planning to develop a better connected multimodal transportation network, expanding walking and biking infrastructure and improvements to existing infrastructure, expanded transit services, access to different modes of transportation and strategies to improve air quality and reduce emissions related to transportation. Transportation challenges in Ventura County have evolved since the original 2013 Comprehensive Transportation Plan was completed. The county is experiencing slowing population growth, an aging population, and funding limitations. The overall population of Ventura County is forecast to remain relatively stable between now and 2050. This is a substantial change from previous forecasts that projected a significant population increase. The change has implications for travel demand, funding availability, and mobility needs. By 2050, 1 in 5 Ventura County residents is forecast to be over the age of 70, up from the current 1 in 10. Shifting demographics will likely create new demands related to the use of transit and paratransit services and change how residents think about mobility choices. Transit ridership recovery remains slow in Ventura County in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Local trends mirrored trends occurring at the state and national level. This figure illustrates the recent shifts across transit operators in the county. At the same time, transit ridership is important to providing mobility options, reducing pollution, supporting activity centers, and improving the economy. Studies have demonstrated investment in public transit can yield 49.7 jobs per $1 million invested. Investment offers a 5-to-1 economic return based on productivity gains long after the short-term stimulative effect. Investment in transit to improve the mobility and number of riders has a direct positive result on the economic health of Ventura County. This figure highlights our need to rethink how transit services are delivered in Ventura County and how transit can continue to fill a role in helping meet future mobility needs, especially for regional travel. So this is Metrolink ridership. You can see after the COVID-19 pandemic, this is in Q2 of each fiscal year, really went down and now it's recovering, and they are working to capture recreational riders and weekend riders. Transportation improvements affect both economic development and productivity. According to the U.S. Census in 2022, 200,000 workers lived and worked in the county, and an equal number lived in Ventura County but commuted out of the county, and approximately 117,000 workers lived outside the county and commuted here. This inter-county flow is compared to other counties in the greater Central Coast and Southern California, and Southern California region, places Ventura County among the lowest for internal commuting. Across the 7 counties listed, the flow of people is substantial, with 6 million people commuting, 6 million commuters staying within their counties, and 3 million workers commuting to work in adjacent counties. In the past 5 years, there were 270 fatalities and 1,300 serious injuries to drivers, passengers, pedestrians, and bicyclists on Ventura County's roadway system. That's an average of 54 fatalities and 260 injuries per year. The personal toll of these lost and changed lives is incredibly tragic to the individuals and their families. Using an economic quantification through the U.S. Department of Transportation's Benefit Cost Analysis Guidance, The annual economic loss due to these injuries is $1.7 billion per year in Ventura County. Moving on to solutions. We developed 3 packages of transportation improvements called scenarios, and each contain a diverse range of multimodal projects, programs, and strategies designed to provide Ventura County residents with more mobility choices, improved transportation infrastructure, and a transportation network that enhances access, equity, and safety for all travelers. They are identified as a baseline future project scenario, a CTP implementation scenario, and a CTP visionary scenario. An overview of each scenario is provided in the following slides. The forecast performance of the scenarios is evaluated across a range of metrics, including automobile trips, congestion, air quality, mode share, economic access, connectivity to transit, and equity. These metrics align with the CTP goals and regional goals as identified in the RTP SCS. The first scenario is the baseline future scenario. It was previously scenario A in the 2023 plan. And these are projects that are reasonably anticipated to be completed within the time horizon of the CTP, or within the next 20 to 30 years. These projects have an identified source of funding, and it's projects that are included in the Federal Transportation Improvement Program, or the FTIP. And they include average VMT per capita and total vehicle hours of delay, or VHD. The next scenario is the CTP implementation scenario. It was previously scenario B. It includes all of the projects in the baseline scenario, or what used to be scenario A, and then adds additional multimodal projects and seeks to advance goals and objectives. These are projects that are in the FTIP, the RTP, and then also local transportation plans like the 101 Communities Connected and the Freight Corridor Study, and also projects that are in the city's capital improvement programs. The CTP visionary scenario include projects that do not currently have an identified pathway to funding. The project specifics are not yet well defined due to the need for additional study, or the project cost exceeds the capacity to be funded within the expected timeline of the CTP. This is a breakdown of the share of funds between each package of projects. I'd like to note that the 101 HOV Express Bus Lanes project is in the CTP implementation scenario and not in the future baseline scenario. This is because the CTP was developed prior to the phased approach of the 101 HOV project, but this CTP amendment, this project, is meant to be a living document so we can update that in the future. The baseline future project scenario is comprised of $340 million in transportation system investments over 30 years. Based on a comparison to the 2010 VMT per capita as determined by the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, the baseline future project scenario would result in a 19% reduction in VMT per capita, consistent with the statewide and regional VMT reduction target. The CTP implementation scenario represents a further $3 billion in transportation investments, which would result in 23% reduction in VMT per capita, exceeding the CARB VMT reduction target. The CTP visionary scenario includes further roadway system improvements and would result in more VMT through induced demand. However, the VMT per capita would be similar to baseline future conditions. Vehicle hours of delay highlights the time vehicles are spending congested in traffic conditions on a countywide level. Reductions in VHD correlate with reductions in overall traffic congestion. This figure shows how VHD is forecast to change between the existing conditions and conditions under each of the 3 future scenarios. Countywide VHD is forecast to decrease across all 3 modeling scenarios. Of note, while the CTP visionary scenario is forecast to experience the highest daily VMT due to roadway and freeway capacity enhancements, the daily vehicle hours of delay in that scenario would experience the greatest reduction, with a forecast decrease of approximately 37% from existing conditions. The investment in improved roadway infrastructure would increase the amount of distance traveled, but would reduce the delay vehicles experience. In contrast, the forecast reduction in vehicle hours of delay under the CTP implementation scenario is the lowest among the 3 future scenarios, illustrating the trade-off between advancing a greater number of non-vehicle infrastructure projects and vehicle operations. The CTP implementation scenario still achieves a 14% reduction in VHD compared to existing conditions. This figure shows the mode split for commuters between the 3 scenarios. There's not much variation for mode split between scenarios, and ultimately, the CTP recognizes that driving alone in a car will remain the primary mode of transportation in Ventura County. Another key factor in shifting mode split is the coordination of land use and transportation planning and policies. Transportation network improvements and changes to land use, particularly involving increased land use densities, locating new development near transit, and providing active transportation connectivity. Altogether, these policies help reduce single occupancy vehicle travel. Next steps. Moving forward, VCTC will continue to collaborate with local agencies in the county to complete initial planning in pursuit of additional funding necessary to implement the projects. The CTP is intended to be a living document that will be updated and amended as needed to incorporate future planning efforts and projects identified for Ventura County. Staff's recommendation is to approve and adopt the Ventura County Comprehensive Transportation Plan Amendment. And with that, I am happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much for that very comprehensive report. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Anderson.
Go ahead, you start. Just go with you
Oh,
first.
go ahead. Thank you. Well, first of all, excellent report. I didn't read all 278 pages, but I looked at them. And I appreciate the community involvement that you have, because that's so important to find out what the community wants and what they expect us to do. So I appreciate the community involvement, and again, thank you for the report.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thanks. I have two questions. Question and a comment. The bar graph that showed the, I think it ended at 2023. It showed the ridership in our area. Is there 2024 data? And if so, how does it differ from 2023?
Let me try to get back to where I think you're talking about. I think that's Drew, is that NTD data? Our data expert I will rely on for transit data.
If it was a transit data, I would say it will be slightly higher in 24 than 23, because we've seen an uptick each year since the pandemic.
Yeah, that was
one. Yeah. So this was actually, when we did the CTP in 2023, we only had it up till 2022. So we added this 2023 data as part of this plan. And we can always come back and add the 2024 data when it's available. But at the time when we did this amendment, it wasn't ready to include.
Okay, that makes sense.
I could just throw out a couple other statistics. Gold Coast Transit, for instance, is, I believe, at very close to 100% of pre-pandemic ridership. Our VCTC intercity, which is a commuter ridership, which typically has been lower, we're just about at 70%. So comparatively, we're doing, I think, quite well versus other transit operators.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. And then my other comment was just the video. If we could start making captioning standard on all the videos, just given our aging population and increased accessibility, that would be great.
Definitely. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
Chair Judge, I had a comment.
Sure.
First, thank you for the report, Caitlin. I wanted to just underscore how helpful the REAP funding has been for us since the CTP, the nearly $4 million we received. And again, thank Chair Judge for his role on the Transportation Committee for SCAG. That funding is being used for bus stop improvements. It's being used for the Santa Paula Branch Line Trail Master Plan. It's being used for other transit enhancements and all things that tie into the CTP goals and what we're trying to achieve. So it's been really helpful. And I think as we continue to focus on the data and strive to be a data-driven organization, we'll make the best recommendations we can present to you as the commission to use the resources we have as wisely as possible.
Right. Seeing none of them, anybody want to make a motion? This is our only action item.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call for the vote.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Broggie?
Yes.
Commissioner Crosswhite?
Yes.
Commissioner Enegren?
Yes.
Commissioner Engler?
Yes.
Commissioner Levere?
Yes.
Commissioner Long?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Parvin?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Vice Chair McQueen-Lejeune?
Yes.
Chair Judge?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 11, Transportation Emergency Preparedness Plan and Rail Safety Update. This will be put on by Audrey Smith. Or
Oh, no, that's not Audrey.
That's not Audrey.
Aubrey is at the LA 28 Summit, so
Oh.
I am filling in. Okay, good morning, Chair and Commissioners. I'm Claire Grassi, Director of Public Transit, for the record. So I'll be going over both rail items and our transportation emergency preparedness plan. So as Martin mentioned, as his Executive Director report, it is Rail Safety Month. Okay, so here, the goal is to highlight, safe behavior near trains, tracks, and grade crossings. Many accidents happen not at grade crossings. So, as Commissioner White mentioned earlier, there are certainly, too many train strikes that happen, both pedestrians and vehicles. The goal is really to help improve awareness. So we're partnering with Metrolink, LoSan, Union Pacific, Sierra Northern, and Operation Lifesaver on outreach. There will be, staff will be doing some outreach at the Oxnard Transportation Center, Camarillo Train Station, and Simi Valley Train Station on September 17th. You're more than welcome to join, especially for any early risers. The trains are quite early. So some things that we're doing is supporting education campaigns, targeting schools, commuters, the general public. I mentioned we're partnering with those agencies. We want to highlight ongoing rail safety improvements that have been made within the county, and preparing a rail safety flyer targeted to agricultural operators and farm workers operating along the Santa Paula branch line. And then I'll move on to our Transportation Emergency Preparedness Plan, or TEP. So just for background, for those that weren't on the commission at the time, this was developed in response to the Thomas Fire and Montecito debris flow. We did it in partnership with Santa Barbara County Association of Governments, SBCAG. The goal is to address these kinds of transportation challenges during emergencies, identifies roles and responsibilities, continuity of operations. We develop asset and inventory, inventories during that time, contact inventories as well. So there's a lot of items that were just developed through this plan, including, increasing, relationship building to help support in emergencies. One of the most important things that happened was the implementation plan. And since this was approved in late 2020, we have been working on these recommendations in the implementation plan. So we staffed the transportation seat at the Emergency Operations Center prior to this plan, but we've been really working on developing our role there, building our relationships so we can be as effective as possible in that role. And we've unfortunately had to, staff that seat a couple times since then. And this, I think, plan has been pretty invaluable in helping us to do that. I mentioned the inventory that we conducted. We've been pretty diligent about keeping that updated yearly. Another big item is Transmac, which is a mutual aid collective. It can be statewide, is primarily, actually when we started, it was mainly Southern California. Since then, we have a number of operators that have joined in Ventura County, VCTC, Gold Coast Transit, Valley Express, Thousand Oaks, Simi Valley recently joined, SBCAG has joined, and so has Santa Barbara MTD. So that's been really great. That's when the recommendation of this plan, but also since joining, a number of other agencies have joined throughout California, including Bakersfield and Fresno counties. So Transmac in general has grown, and that's really been a great effort on the part of Transmac. It's been pretty invaluable in helping with trainings. During the pandemic, it was a great information sharing resource. So in general, it's been really beneficial, I think, to the agencies that we've, since we've joined. But it also kind of gives the parameters on when mutual aid is needed, and that has happened. While we didn't, so since we were working with Ventura County operators only, we haven't necessarily done the funding arrangement that Transmac allows for, but we kind of used this as a guide when we responded to the Kenneth fire. We had a number of different Ventura County operators responding to it. as well as some of the train strikes that have unfortunately happened. And we're now joining the regional radio system, which was approved a couple months ago, and you approved earlier the purchasing the actual radios earlier this morning. I'll get into that in a second on the next slide. But also Gold Coast Transit has also implemented a contingency fleet, which was one of the recommendations in the plan. And then also we're recently awarded a grant to prepare a multimodal transportation network climate vulnerability assessment and action plan. Quite a mouthful, but congrats to Amanda's team on that. And so the radio equipment, this has been a big, goal for the transit operators for many years, for 10 years plus. And, really kudos to the county for taking the lead and really encouraging not just us, but so many different agencies. I think this will be, really, game-changing system that will help us respond to emergencies. But in general, we're replacing old communication systems that all the operators have. So we're in general in need of replacing and updating our radio systems on our transit agencies. But this will have, huge benefits of allowing us to communicate with each other just in regular operations if we need to make transfers to each other, but also in a case of emergency. So if we're needing to communicate between ourselves to respond to an emergency, we're able to do that. But one of the biggest benefits is being able to communicate directly to law enforcement, in particular the sheriffs, but all the other law enforcement agencies that are joining this. And so, if there's just, a smaller one-off incident on one bus, maybe someone has like a knife or something on a bus, these operators can communicate directly with dispatch. But in the case of a large-scale fire, Patrick Maynard doesn't have to call me to call everyone else. We'll be much more efficient way to kind of respond to these emergencies. And I think it'll be such a great thing to have. And we're really excited about it. And, not just to replace, our aging, existing infrastructure. So it will be really exciting when it's all done. And so I forgot to add a question slide. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions or comments.
Great. Any questions or comments for Claire? Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick question. It's great to see the coordination going on between the different agencies and also with the county for this emergency preparedness effort. How are you testing that? Are you on a annual basis of testing that system? We had a nice test a few months ago with the mountain fire and all that. But is there scheduled testing of how we're going to coordinate?
Right. So some of the training has just been through these incidents. Unfortunately, we've had so many recently, and not just when it comes to fires and stuff, the flooding, but also these train strikes, unfortunately, and so. A lot of the practice has come that way, but like I said, through Transmac, there has been some tabletop exercises and things like that that I think have been really helpful as well. And I think once the radios are up and running, the county OES has said that they want to do some training. There was a training that included buses. I think maybe about 10 years or so ago, and it's been a long time since there's been an in the field training. And I think once we have those radio systems, first of all, we'll need to have training on them, but training in terms of a simulation, I think would be very wise once everyone has the radios, and I think we'll do that again.
Yeah, I would encourage you to incorporate the emergency operations into almost daily activities. So using that radio system is a good way to familiarize all the users with how to react during an emergency. So congratulations on this, and Godspeed on going forward with it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Any other member comments?
Chair Judge, I just had a comment. I was thinking of a point that Commissioner Engler made a while ago when we had the X Games here, and we coordinated transit to a point where it really affected, there was not as much traffic. Everything was coordinated well together, and I think a similar thing's been happening with the emergency response. And I just want to acknowledge again Claire and the transit team. But also, as you know, it's our theme this year is partnerships. And we have a great partnership with the county emergency operations, especially Patrick Maynard. And I speak with him, not too much, because usually when something comes up, we're talking a lot. But he has made it a point how much he appreciates working with Claire and the transit team. So.
And Claire, I just want to say thank you. I think it's great that we're collaborating that way. By October, we should be ready for storms and fires and all of that. So the more we work together and be prepared, the better. Thank you.
Yeah, agreed. We appreciate the county's leadership on it. It's made it much easier. Radios are not any of our strong suit, I'll say that. So we've all learned a lot, and we definitely appreciate not just Patrick, but his team and Brent's team and everyone. It's really helped us out a lot.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. And do you have a list of the rail stations that are going to be served on the 17th? At what time?
Yes, we do. We are be happy to share that. I think
We'll share that information with the whole commission after the meeting.
Yes,
Okay,
happy to
very
do
much.
so.
Thanks.
Well, thank you very much for the report and filling in for Aubrey. This is receive and file, so I think we just move on, right? Yep. We're going to move on to number 12, and this is Claire again for the Ventura County Rail Corridor update.
Okay, so good morning again. So I'm going to go over an update first of the Santa Barbara service, and then go over a number of the capital projects that are in the corridor. So first, just kind of as a reminder, this prior to the pandemic, there was a morning train operated by LoSan. It was pretty early in the morning, but it was very loved by the community. We regularly get requests for this to be reinstated, and so we've been working diligently with SBCAG, who will be our funding partner on this. Really for the last 3 years and in earnest for the last 2.5. So we're excited to, be getting closer to the finish line. And so, this train, I'll show the schedule in a second, but there'll also be, the return trip will provide more service as well. And so LoSan, they own this slot, and they don't at this time have the equipment to be able to run the service. So Metrolink will be the subcontractor providing the service until a time where LoSan can resume the service. So here is the schedule in yellow. So it'll depart Moore Park at 6:38, arrive to Santa Barbara at 7:51, and Goleta at 8:03. So the last time I think it arrived to Santa Barbara around maybe a little bit before 7, around 7. So I think that these times will be more attractive to commuters. And then this train that will come back in revenue service, leaving Goleta at 10:35. And then arriving at Union Station at 1:30. So this will be a great benefit for any of those really in the entire county, but especially for those in Western Ventura County who have less rail service to Union Station. So for just the background in terms of ticketing, you would use the Amtrak ticketing app on your northbound train. And then on the southbound train, once you came into Ventura County, you would be able to use the Metrolink app, or you could still use Amtrak app if you wanted, due to the code share program that already exists. It's a bit confusing, so we'll be doing a lot of work to kind of demystify this and get as many people as we can to begin using it. For commuters, they would in the afternoon take the return trip. That leaves, it's an Amtrak train, existing Amtrak train, that leaves Goleta at 4:25 and Santa Barbara at 4:40. So these are a number of things that we've been doing over the last couple months. I just want to remind us all that The startup agreement was approved in January and fully executed in February, which has allowed all of this work to go underway. Suffice to say, there's been a lot of work that's happened and a lot of kind of changes that have happened since this agreement has been made. But a lot of work by us, SBCAG, but of course by Metrolink and LoSan as well. So there's a couple things to finalize in the agreements. I think those will be taken care of quickly, but the main issue we're waiting on is UP concurrence. So they're quite busy with their merger right now, and I think that's led to a bit of the delay. We were hoping to have the service implemented prior to the end of this year, but due to this Union Pacific issue, we're planning to begin service in early 2026. So that's the goal. Okay, and then I'm going to get into some of the capital projects. So the Leesdale Siding Project, this is being managed by LoSan. As you can see in the map, this is between the Oxnard and Camarillo stations, specifically between Rose Avenue and Wood Road. In it, you could see where the Rice Avenue grade separation project lies within. So there's an existing siding. It's only about half a mile. It's not up to current standards. And so this will be to extend that siding to construct a 3.4 mile long siding. A siding is just, a double track basically for a short period of time. And so this allows for greater operational flexibility, potentially more service for both the Surfline and Metrolink. And then in 2026, the design will be complete and they'll go into construction. The Camarillo Station ADA project, we are leading this. So as a reminder, in 2021, we had a settlement with the DOJ that requires us to make some ADA improvements at the Camarillo Station. And after a one-time extension, all of these improvements need to be made by March 2027. The improvements include increasing the accessibility routes, remedying abrupt elevation changes, adding detectable warnings at the transition areas and the curb ramps, and improving ADA signage. A lot of the signage has already been updated. Oops. I'm going backwards. Okay. So we're at 100% design. We are ready to release the IFB, but there are a couple complications. Though we own the station, the platform is on top of Union Pacific right-of-way, which has complicated this process. Also, the city of Oxnard, same situation with them. And so this project is also funded by Solutions for Congested Corridors funding. So in order to receive the allocation needed to begin construction, we have to go to the CTC, and the process for getting on the agenda takes 2 months, and you need to have all documents completed by that time, which includes the right of entry permit needed from Union Pacific. And suffice to say that we're still been held up a bit by them, both in terms of reviewing the design and now the right of entry permit, which we expected in July. We've been working with legal and with programming to do everything we can to come up with creative ways so that we can try and stay ahead of our DOJ settlement date. Through those delays, we've already eaten up all of our cushion and are really close to not being able to make that deadline. So I think we've made some significant progress with Union Pacific this week. We have some ideas on releasing the IFB potentially in October, and then we wouldn't award anything until after the CTC allocation is completed. So that may be on the agenda for next week. We've been trying to get very creative in order to meet this deadline, but that's mainly the holdup. We're done with all the design and ready to go out to bid. Okay, so the Camarillo train station undercrossing project, this is led by the city of Camarillo. It constructs a new undercrossing between the two platforms. So if anyone has been there, it's quite a hurdle to go over the overcrossing. You're actually, the bottom of the overcrossing is higher than where your tires are on a car. So it's pretty high up there. Takes quite a while to cross it. It's not ADA compliant. And service is provided on both tracks. So, if you're taking the train to LA or anywhere south, when you board the train is different than when you get off. So you have to cross over that ramp no matter what if you're taking the train in both directions. So this project will create an undercrossing that'll be much more convenient. And so the design is anticipated to be completed next year, with construction estimated to begin in 27-28. This also, we've been working with UP. The city of Camarillo has been working hard with LoSan and with VCTC, and we seem to have resolved that and are able to move forward. So here are some renderings. This is a view of Dawson Drive on your left, Lewis Road on your right, like if you're coming from LA into the train station. And then this is on the Dawson Drive side, I believe, and then on the Lewis Road side here. And then that shows the undercrossing. And another view. And then security features. So it will be closed after hours of train service. And then the last project, the Metrolink Simi Valley Double Track project. This is another major project as part of the Southern California Optimized Rail Expansion Program through Metrolink. They received the funding for this. They're leading this project. We do own the platform and most of the rail line here, though we do share it with Union Pacific. So a lot of progress has been made. It'll allow more frequent train service, improve service reliability and on-time performance. It'll have new platform access, including an underpass at this station as well. So right now there's just one track, single track, one platform. This will have double platforms and an underpass. Also, there'll be a quiet zone ready improvements made at 4 intersections in this area in Simi Valley. So that would be a huge benefit for the neighborhoods as well. So we just recently completed the last acquisition of the last parcels, which was done through the eminent domain process that just finished up. And we, again, are negotiating with UP on this fiber relocation issue. Due to this issue, unfortunately, this will not be completed by the Olympics, which was the goal. So UP has requested for approval, some things that also are within LA County, and which obviously we cannot grant. So we're working with Metro, and all of that has led to the delay in this project. But the main item that we were responsible for in acquiring these last parcels has been completed. And with that, I will take any questions.
I have a quick question, Earl. On your train schedule for the new train going to Santa Barbara, I didn't see Simi Valley on the list.
Right. Yes. Right. So it is starting from Moore Park because that's where the layover station is. And so potentially when the Simi Valley Double Track project is completed, there may be some opportunity to kind of backtrack. But this LoSan will eventually take over this slot. So Metrolink will be running this service anywhere between 5 months and a year. And so after that, LoSan, once they have their equipment and their funding and approvals in line, which can't happen before July 1st, then they will begin the service. And at that time, then Simi Valley will be served as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm curious with this project for Camarillo, have we heard from the city of Camarillo or Caltrans with finishing the sidewalk on Lewis Road on the west side so that people can safely get to the train? There is an issue with El Tecolote and there's a school, and so people are very unsafe walking or riding their bike in that one area. At least that's my perception, because trying to get there, I can't unless I'm really close to the road. So I just wanted to ask. I do try to see how everyone travels.
Yes, no, those are great points. I do not personally, I don't know if that's come up, if Amanda or Vanessa know. No? Well, we'd be happy to look into it for you.
That'd be wonderful.
Yes,
Thank you.
more than happy to. Absolutely. I think the whole path of travel, I think, is very critical to improving your transit, attractability and ridership.
Well, and it's also because we were talking about the Somis farm housing and that bus stop. But if they had to walk to get to the train,
Right.
that's an unsafe spot.
Right.
So I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, understood. Absolutely. Be happy to look into it.
Thank you.
Of course.
Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you very much for that report. It's
Thank
receive
you.
and file, and appreciate it. Moving on to number 13, general council reports.
No general council report today.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to our agency reports, number 14, and I'll go first with Southern California Association of Governments. Yesterday, we had our transportation committee, and we heard two short informational presentations from staff, and we had 3 action items. 2 of the action items will approve transportation to come before the regional council. The regional council did take them up, and they did push them forward. The first one was basically about future agenda items and how SCAG gets things done as far as transportation goes. Second one was planning for main streets, which is a SCAG project, and I'm sure it has it'll be coming here to explain what it's going to be. It is a big project, and it's going region-wide, so it was very impressive. A lot of the talk in the regional committee yesterday was about the Olympics, and very lively discussion. We had the mayor of Culver City, a council member from Mission Viejo, who were both Olympians at one time, and they were very into the planning stages of the Olympics, and it drew some criticism from our members in the Inland Empire and other places where the Olympics will not be held. So it was an interesting conversation. Another interesting conversation we had was about the Metrolink grant award, because Metrolink got a big grant to replace 12 of its locomotives with clean diesel locomotives, and that will be done between now and 2035. And the grant project was questioned by a couple members in SCAG, and it brought up a very lively debate on where this money's going if you're not riding the train or the buses. And so it was brought to the attention that this has to be done. It's one of the mandated things under California's clean air policies. So it was interesting. It was a very interesting meeting. We didn't go over, so that was most important. And the rest of it was pretty cut and dried. But that's what happened at SCAG, so thank you. And next we'll move on to the Southern California Rail Authority, Metrolink.
Commissioner Tremblay's not here. I was unable to attend the meeting. We were in Canada at the time. But the main takeaway is that for our location here, tagging along with the Simi Valley double tracking, the Metrolink did approve the funding for the acquisition of that property. I know that the property owner was asking for upwards of $11.5 million. I think the final toll was someone under $2 million for that property. So it was good to be able to purchase that and continue on with that very important project.
Great. Losan, and this will be Commissioner White.
Yes, thank you, sir. First of all, I want to thank the staff, especially the speaker that we just had, who will be unnamed at this time, because I talked to her a lot. She gives me a lot of information on the rail corridor, on what's going on with Surfliner, what's going on with the staff, and the information that we get. So I just want to thank that particular staff person, who will be unnamed, because she is such a wealth of information. And not only the information that we get, but keep me updated on all the negotiations that are going on and the responsibilities that we have as me sitting on the Losan board. I did not get a chance to go to the last Losan board. I think Commissioner Enegren sat in for me, and he was particularly wowed at what went on during that meeting. Do you have anything information on the last meeting?
Yeah, it was we received and filed a report on some of the efforts to address some of the erosion down in San Clemente. So there's a 1,400-foot catchment wall that's going to be built. It's going to protect the bluff from eroding or a mudslide from impacting the tracks. And the designs are all complete on that. going through some final design reviews on that, and it'll be about a year of construction to build that out. That's all I got.
Thank you. I will mention Claire because she is a wealth of information, and also Aubrey, who sometimes sits in the meetings with me at the office. So thank you both for being there. The next meeting is going to be September 15th. You heard a lot of information on Surfliner today. It's just a lot of stuff that I'm sitting around waiting for it to happen, but it's just not happening as fast as I really like to have it happen. So again, I appreciate the staff and for Chris sitting in on me for the last meeting. That's all.
All right. California Association Council of Governments. Jenny?
Yes, there was a meeting. The first thing I'd like to share, not directly transportation related, but it might be something of interest to the commissioners, is that they have a page on their website. You can find it at www.calcog.org/HIP that has housing implementation policy samples and ideas and information. So if you're interested in stuff related to housing policy, there's already some categories of information, and there's going to be more information that's coming. There's some categories that say coming soon. But anyway, so that's a section of their website that you might find interesting. We spent quite a bit of time talking about the air conformity waivers being revoked in California, and basically it comes down to, which you've probably already heard, we don't really know what the impact on that is going to be yet. If it hasn't been figured out by summer of 2026, that could become more challenging and problematic because there will be projects that won't be able to get their determinations and move forward. And so for the meantime, we're sort of in a waiting period as we try to figure out what's going to happen with all of that. We talked about the CalCog has received a grant for transportation pricing, analysis, planning, outreach. And so they're going to be doing some educational campaigns and gathering information about how people feel about VMT-related mileage charge. And then we had a legislative advocacy update, which was pretty extensive. But the two things that I'll share are that between the cap and trade and the housing bond, if one of them moves forward, it's more likely to be cap and trade, which might be called cap and invest instead of cap and trade. The housing bond at this point is looking like it is not likely to move forward for the ballot. So, thank you.
Thank you. California Van Pool Authority.
Yes, thank you, sir. California Van Pool, CalVans, has been very busy in Sacramento trying to get some grants to come down and help out with vehicles. We have quite a few vehicles here in Ventura County. In fact, we got an electrical vehicle that was set up over to the Ventura Housing Organization just yesterday. And so they'll be able to use that, and that's kind of exciting. I've been working really close with the executive board, and some of the board meetings have been canceled recently. In fact, the one we're supposed to have this week. But other than that, I have no other information to share. Thank you. Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that I did sit in on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's right, on the Zoom, although I really have nothing more to report other than it was my first participation in CalVans. It was interesting, a lot of talk about what was going on in Camarillo with regard to ICE and the vans and purchasing new vans. But I'll have more detail, I think, to report when I have my notes in front of me, which I don't have. So, but thank you for
We were talking
allowing me
about
to do so.
the telemetrics is what we call
Yes.
that information that is on every single van in CalVans throughout the state of California, and it tells you exactly where the van is, if there's any problems, all that kind of stuff. So those are already set up here at CalVans. So that's kind of it's a nice safety situation.
Great. Well, thank you very much for all your reports. We're going to be adjourning the meeting, and we'll see you back on Friday, October 3rd at 9 a.m. here at the City of Camarillo Council Chambers. Thank you very much for coming. The meeting is adjourned.